SMS is a game changer for IoT. Sure, it's no longer cool among consumers, but for IoT devices, it remains essential. Primarily because SMS can be used without a data connection. All it needs is some good old classical cellular service. This is why leading manufacturers leverage SMS for the following scenarios. It's possible to have the device fully configured when it leaves the factory. However, you may want to offer customizable solutions for different customers. In this case, it's best to move the configuration to the end of the sales pipeline, and this can be done using SMS. In fact, you can set your APN and assign your device to an application server all through SMS. There are a number of reasons why you might want to remotely reboot a device. Perhaps it's acting a little bit oddly, or maybe it's lost its data connection. Whatever it is, SMS is a great tool to trigger a remote reboot. Let's face it, when building an IoT device, you want to have the best battery life possible. So is it really necessary to maintain a constant mobile data connection for the type of data you're trying to transmit? There are actually a few asset trackers on the market that send their location via SMS instead of using a data connection. This makes it possible for the device to function longer before swapping the battery. Let's say you want to make it possible for your device to have different configurations and that these configurations can be changed in the field. How could you do that without adding some sort of interface to the device? Well, you guessed it, by sending an SMS. At this point, you might be thinking, okay, SMS might make some sense, but how do I send it? Do I have to manually type it into my phone? Well, luckily for you, EMnify provides 3 different ways to send an SMS, and I'm going to walk you through each of those right now. The first way to send an SMS is through the portal. Go to emnify.com in the top right corner, click on Login, and then once you've logged in, you'll land on the dashboard. In the top left corner, select Connected Devices, and then choose the device you want to send that SMS to. I'm going to go ahead and send it to the master switch here. I'll go to the right side of the screen, click the icon to open the SMS console. And once the console's open, I'll go ahead and send my message. Let's do toggle switch there, and message sent. The next way to send an SMS is through the EMnify API. And of course, the first thing you want to do when looking at an API is review the documentation. You can find the EMnify API documentation at emnify.com/developers/rest-API. Here in the documentation, you can find an extensive list of everything you can do with the EMnify API. However, we only need 4 items from this list. The first one is the authenticate post. This will return a JWT token, which we need to do any further requests with the API. For that, we need to get the application token. You can find that in the EMnify portal. From the dashboard, go to Integrations, scroll down all the way to Application Tokens, then Add Token. I'm going to name this SMS Demo API. And then we'll set an expiration date so that this token isn't available forever, and we'll create that application token. Then I'm going to go ahead and click the copy token button to copy it to my clipboard. Going back to the documentation, let's take a look at the remaining items we'll need to check out. Scrolling down, I'm looking for endpoints. There it is. We're going to get the endpoint, and this provides a massive list of all endpoints in the system. Going down further, we need to find the SMS post. There we go. Post SMS. The final one that we're going to look at is the get SMS by SMS ID. And we'll use this to determine whether or not that SMS has actually been delivered. With the APIs in hand, we can now take a look at how to put it all together. And for that, I created a small React app in Code Sandbox. You can see that I have an authenticate function here, which sends the application token and then receives the authentication token. We now have our get endpoint function, which sends the endpoint name, and you can see that right here as the filter. And I've added, of course, the necessary headers in order to ensure that you're authorized to send that request. We have the post SMS function. This post SMS function will then, of course, send that SMS for us. So we need that device ID of where to send that SMS to. We can go up to our get SMS function here, which will then get the SMS for this endpoint based on the SMS ID that we've set. Of course, also sending through the necessary headers. With that status, it'll then update the SMS status state. So that is how the React app functions. Let's take a look at the user interface. With that opened up, we need to come into application token, paste in our application token, and authenticate. We are now authenticated, so we can go down and type in our device name. If you remember, that is the master switch. And we'll get device ID, which automatically populates here in the device ID field. Now I need to send an SMS. And what do we want to do with the master switch? Well, we want to toggle the master switch, of course. So we'll toggle the master switch. Yay! And send the SMS. All right, delivery attempt pending. Now, how do we know if it's been delivered? Well, that's why we have that get SMS function in there. So we'll go ahead and trigger that by clicking the check status button. And the response is that we've now delivered the SMS. The next way to send an SMS with EMnify is by using the no-code solution Zapier. If you're unfamiliar with Zapier, it functions sort of like a bridge between systems, taking a trigger from one system and moving it over into an action in another system. If you think about it, it's actually quite powerful. For our demo scenario today, we'll use Slack as our trigger, with the concept that Slack is a team communication platform. This means that a sales team could use the channel to activate a device, or an IT team could use a channel to reconfigure a device. Here in Zapier, we can see that we already have Slack and Discord connected. We need to add our EMnify connection. So I'm going to go up here to add connection. I'll type in EMnify and select that. Once it's loaded, I can paste in our application token and continue. Great, so now EMnify is connected. I'll go back and we can see that we have EMnify and Slack and also Discord all connected. Now we just need to create our Zap. Go ahead and click that Create Zap button in the top left corner. For our trigger, we're going to be using a message sent in a Slack channel. So I need to select Slack, go here and choose that trigger event, new message posted to channel, and click Continue. Then choose our Slack account and continue. And then we need to select the channel. I am going to use the toggle master switch channel, or leave the trigger for bot messages as no and continue. Now, in order to test this trigger, we need to have something in that channel. And what should we be sending to the channel in order to send an SMS? Well, something that identifies the device. So for that, we actually need something called the ICC ID, which is specific to the SIM card. So we're returning over to the EMnify portal. We'll go up to the left column here, unconnected devices, click on that, and we'll go into our master switch, and we can just go ahead and click detailed there, and we'll see ICC ID right there. You can also get the ICC ID by going to details, and here you can see it down here. So we'll go ahead and copy that over using Command C. We'll move it into Slack, and you can see here my toggle master switch channel, and we'll go ahead and send the ICC ID message. With that message sent, I can return to our Zapier and test the trigger. Ta-da! We found a message! Pretty exciting. We now have our message and we can continue with our Zap. Our next thing is to send that SMS message, so we'll select EMnify here right at the top. Choose an action. It's going to be, of course, send an SMS, and continue. We need to choose our account for IoT Academy, continue, and then for ICC ID, let's enter in the text there. And the message, of course, we want to toggle the master switch. And then for the source, I'm just going to put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and continue. Here we can go ahead and test to see if this works. And it did. We sent an SMS to EMnify just now. With a successful test, we can now activate the Zap, which will fully automate the process so that anytime we send a message in that Slack channel, we'll get that SMS sent. Let's go ahead and send one more message in the Slack channel here. Dun, dun, dun. We'll just copy that over and paste it in and send it. And going back over to Zapier, let's get out of here. And we can go into our Zap history right here and see that we just sent the first message beyond the test. You've now learned why SMS is relevant for IoT, as well as how to send an SMS using EMnify. If you like this video, please give it a like, and of course, subscribe to our channel so you can get more information about IoT connectivity, devices, and trends.